Hello and welcome. I would like to introduce a very sophisticated panel tonight. And since you know yourself best, I would suggest that each of you will introduce yourselves quickly to the audience before we go into further questions. So maybe just start with you, Valentin.
I would have said ladies first, but okay, on my side. Nice to meet you, everyone. A nice evening. So my name is Valentin Denuziere. I'm currently the leading AI in charge of the at EY. Sorry. I'm in charge of the delivery of all the AI projects across the financial sector. So it means banking, capital markets, asset management, wealth management, and insurance as well. I've started my career within in SocGen as an internal auditor and financial analyst, and then I moved to the um, what did to the consulting. So I'm a consultant. Yeah. So to the consulting part, where I used to be within a few players, let's say KPMG, IBM, and now EY since the last 3 years.
Thank you. So indeed, Société Générale is a big family, as you could understand. And so no, I'm Agnès Lévy-Soussan. I'm currently head of data and AI for French Retail Bank. And I've been working in the banking industry for more than 20 years. I have to admit now. I started my career in Reuters on data topics, and then I've been working on market activities and risk management. And this is where I had the opportunity to work with Jesus. So thank you for the invitation. And today, I'm really happy to speak about this AI topic. Thank you, Agnès.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Jérôme Lebecq. So I work in BNP Paribas. I am, no title is a Group Responsible AI Officer. I work at the group level in the AI office, and we work with all the AI teams in the group. So we try to find the transversal views on what and how we do AI for. So I work in consulting companies as well, like EY. I work as a consultant for Société Générale, a long time ago. But yeah, today AI is my big day-to-day job to make it more safe, to make sure that we have trust from the customers and from employees. So that's the topic of the day. And maybe one fun fact, not a fun fact, but actually, I remember that my first, I think the courses on AI, it was in 1999. So it's not something that just popped up with ChatGPT, but yeah, it's been a long time. So I did a few things, but I came back to AI, and I think it's because it's very interesting, and we'll see.
Thank you very much. So I'm really excited to have this panel of distinguished professionals because you have each a different background. Obviously, you come from consulting and then retail banking, and for somebody on a group level of a big bank. The topic today is really about how AI adoption has impacted the human roles and decision making in your companies and in finance in particular. Let me maybe start with that question. What has surprised you most about the AI adoption? And what are the unexpected developments you do forecast in that area? May I just start with you, Jean?
Yeah, sure. So maybe in AI nowadays, I think usually when we talk about AI, a lot of people think right away of Gen AI, but it's not only that. So we've been doing AI for a long time actually, and when we wanted to do AI with machine learning, with data that we had and so on, so we had in a way to convince people that it works. It's better than what we had, the tools, the algorithms that we had before, and so on. So we had to convince people. And since ChatGPT and Gen AI, it's completely the contrary. So now we need to just take a step back because it's not magic. I think we have seen that a lot, and I talk very regularly to people in BP Paribas to explain what is AI, what we can do, what it can't do. And now, so we need to be careful because it can be easily accessible. We have that on our iPhone, on computer. I mean, it's very publicly available, but it cannot do everything, and it can hallucinate. It makes mistakes. Everyone wants to jump on Gen AI, even in the bank, and we need to make sure that everything is settled, is secured. The data, we can't play with all the data that we want, especially if we use a cloud provider, something like that. So that's the way that, regarding adoption, yeah, we have two worlds, the ancient one and the new one. But now we try to promote a responsible use of AI.
Blind trust in AI and the necessity of training people how to use it. Yeah, I think that's a very important point. So, what about you, Agnes? What has surprised you most about AI?
I agree with what you said. Maybe if we would have this discussion 1 year ago, we would have talked a lot about generative AI. It's still a topic, fancy topic, not only, but today, where I'm quite surprised, but and now we speak about agents all the time. Now, as soon as we have this AI discussion, people want to know, okay, you have a process, where are you going to put some agents? That's the new question I hear and face every day in all the meetings we have. So that would be, I would say that it's one of my surprise in terms of acceleration on how we want to go to that. And we have to do that also. So that would be my first, I would say, first topic. Now also I see two approaches, a bottom-up approach, as you said. Now everyone has many ideas of how we could put AI, and maybe this is not the right approach. Maybe it's going to be very costly. Maybe it's not ethical. Maybe it's not going to be the right solution. And maybe there are simpler solutions, and that's fine, and that's enough. So I, as an AI officer, I spend lots of time explaining, okay, maybe AI should not be the solution. So, okay, maybe it's a paradox. And maybe 2 years ago, it was not what we were doing. But at the same time, I also see that AI is seen really now as a strategic topic, really key and strategic for our CEO, for all the COMEX, with very strong attention, and now with an approach which is quite different. I think we are now far from testing, proof of concepts. Now we really want to focus on very specific use cases with business cases. So I think it's really new in terms of approach, and it's going to deliver faster and with strong impact.
You and I have been in the industry for more than 20 years. So I'm sure you also remember blockchain, right? I had it on my slides as well. It's a classic solution looking for a problem. And we see that with the AI agents repeating. So, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So thank you very much for that. What about you, Valentin? What has surprised you the most?
I think that's the rapidity of the adoption. I think if we just go back, let's say 3 years ago, let's say end of October 2022, nobody knew OpenAI and ChatGPT. I think everybody are using today on a daily basis ChatGPT, and clearly something in terms of acceleration of the use of AI, which is amazing. Now it's roughly something like between 700 or 800 millions user per day or per week, and that's what the user is doing with AI. Now they are using AI for everything. Now it's your best friend for most of the, especially the younger generation. So clearly something which is a bit anxious to me to see that yes, we are using AI. Yes, it's something that everybody wants to use, and now it's also a strategic topic. And if you don't communicate around AI, if you are bored, of course you are missing something. And having such a trend in less than 3 years is really massive. And lastly, I really join the comment done previously. Now last year, nobody was aware of agents. Now it's always the case, which is a bit amazing. And last thing is that everybody now is an expert within AI, even if they have just tried ChatGPT and ask one or two things. And something that we need also to fight a bit with this kind of users.
When I came in here a little bit early, and the gentleman here in the front, he asked me, "So which camp are you in, Brilliance, Blunder, or Bubble?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe I'm balanced." Honestly speaking, I'm not just in the Blunder, right? Even if I wrote a book about it, but I agree with you. There's so much that AI has changed, and it is very, very useful on a daily basis. And just the adoption of the private persons, not so much for companies, but how it has changed the life of private persons. I think that has really, really moved the needle and changed the game. Well, we've just talked about use cases, and I think that's one of the things that I'm sure the audience is very curious about as well. What are actually the use cases in the real world that you have seen AI create a genuine, measurable value in your organizations?
There is two words at least which are really difficult as of today: genuine and evaluation. I'm sure that if you have tried to not try, but if you have started to deploy AI, it's very difficult to calculate an ROI as of today. And compared to the figures that were provided by consultants before, saying that AI will save, let's say, between 50 or 60%, clearly it's not the case right now. We are seeing at the best something like, let's say, between 10-15% on top of deploying AI on a specific process. So it's very difficult. Having said that, in terms of, to answer your question, in some key processes, and especially middle back, let's say operation, is something that is worth deploying. Also on the support function, especially on the risk and compliance side, it was a domain where classic AI machine learning models were also deployed a long time ago. And GenAI on top of that will also help a lot. But clearly it's something which is difficult to measure as of today. Hence also the hype around the agentic AI, which is now the new best thing to have achievable and impactful deployment.
Maybe I can take an example on mortgage. Mortgage, so and BP Paribas. So we have done. So we have this process, obviously, but we have improved it with the AI. So we reduced the number of days for the back office, middle and back, to treat the application from our customers.
Thank you very much, Jérôme. So what about in retail banking, Agnès? What are the use cases that you're seeing?
Maybe my comment, well, before going to example, maybe a little bit more general, I would say that if we want to find ROI on AI, I think it's the wrong question or the wrong answer. I mean, AI is only a lever, but I know that we are in a phase where we want to show the investment we make on that and we want to know the ROI. Okay, but at the end, as you said, it's not the strategic way to think about that. At the end, we want people to get indeed their mortgage quicker. We want to provide answers to our customers quickly. And this is what we are looking for. And then we have to rethink the processes. And then to do that, we have to put AI somewhere in the area and in the process. So at the end, the impact and the ROI should be really measured on the end-to-end process and not only on this AI component, which is at the end not feasible. So impact and the value is really complicated, maybe.
But also what we can see sometimes is that, okay, some people want to insert AI at some point in a process, but actually what should be done maybe is to rethink the whole process, or maybe the bigger part of the process, or instead of just replacing a small component that is done manually by just an AI.
Just one comment, especially at the beginning, when you are considering the deployment and the data curation needed and all the stuff that you have to perform. Of course, the first use cases or the first things that you have to do will be very expensive, will be very time consuming. And the value of AI is something that should be considered. I fully agree on an end-to-end basis. But clearly, once everything has been done, especially setting the infrastructure, setting having more people knowing how it works and so on, and starting to have the first thing in production, the added value or the add-on on a single use case will be, of course, far better in terms of ROI. But as of today, as that's just the beginning of the journey around AI, it's very difficult and very expensive.
Thank you very much for these very useful informations. Let's move to the bubble question. So what do you think? Are we in an AI bubble?
No, that's clear. For sure, I would answer that as a really involved in AI topics. No, my view is that again, it's really related to what I said before and what we said. AI is really going to be embedded in the processes. It's not something that is on top of. It's not only something fancy that is going to shine during 1 month, 2 months, 1 year. I really think it's going to be part of our end-to-end processing in the bank. And for that, I think it's not a bubble. And that's my view.
For me, it's a yes and no. So no, because the same reasons. A yes, because of the hype, and maybe because of the ROI that is not always here. And when you see the billions, invested, I'm still wondering where people will get their return at some point. So that's maybe we will see maybe consolidation at some point. Let's see how it goes, because it's very difficult to have a guess on that. But yeah, that's why it's a bit between the two.
Yes and no on my side. I would say that from a valuation perspective, yes. You were quoting the amounts that have been raised by very young people with no experiences, and you see that how much capitalization that you have around AI, especially in the US. Nevertheless, again, I agree. It's a tendency, and we are seeing that. Of course, AI will be used. Of course, it will change the way that human plus machine are currently working, or at a later stage, completely reshape the various processes. So yes, from a valuation perspective, no, because clearly it's something which is very impactful, not as the metaverse.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now let's move from bubble to real world risks. Let's put it like that. Obviously, risks in banking, risks in finance. So maybe Jérôme, you are obviously in risk. What do you think are the risks that finance leaders underestimate when they're deploying AI?
From my point of view, the main risk is going. It's a difficulty to go from POC to industrialization. For now, everyone is keen to test the technology. We know that yes, it is useful, but we need to use it so safely, as I said, and we need to. And that's where the difficulty is. It's kind of technology risk at the same time, but it's difficult to go at scale. Because it's easy to do something on your table, on your laptop, but when you are a big bank, you have millions of customers, and you want to serve the same service in the same level of service. For GenAI, for example, a customer, you cannot answer him for a question with an agent, for example, in 10 seconds. It's too long. So we need to invest, we need to go at scale, and it's very difficult. Plus, considering that we are very regulated, plus the AI Act that is coming already live, you have a lot of constraints, and that's very very difficult. And in the AI Act, for the high risks, so related to credit, mostly for us, you have a lot of constraints. You have to explain how it works, the bias, transparency. You have a lot of things to comply with, and it's bundled sum takes a lot of time, difficult sometimes because your bias assessment, it's case by case basis. Usually, it's not very. It's not a topic that is easily solved, and so I think that's the main difficulties, at least for the banks. I don't know if in Société Générale is the same, but yeah, that's the main risk from my point of view.
What about from a retail banking perspective? You're working with data infrastructure. What is your biggest challenge?
So indeed, risk management is one of the big challenge, and where we are quite strong as a bank is that we have all this model risk framework that already exists and that can be reused, not completely. We have to adapt and reinforce. And definitely, what is quite interesting is at this moment when we have this evaluation and assessment of the use cases, we have to be all together around the table with all the skills, compliance, AI experts, IT security, all around the table to really be able to assess, because we face new questions almost every day, but we have the governance and I would say the framework to do so. So that's maybe one of the challenge. Second one, as French retail bank, my challenge, and that's not a surprise that I'm head of AI, but also data, is because, well, the biggest challenge is at the end data. Sometimes I say, okay, the AI part is almost the easiest one. But yeah, not so far from that. And why? Because at the end, let's say I want to have some to have AI to interact with my clients. I want to know what has been the journey of my clients, but it's between the app, it's between the phone, between the conversation with his advisor, and how do I get the data? That's really my challenge at the moment. And at the end, any AI use case behind that, I would say you have in backstage really big lots to do regarding data, being able to have it, to collect it, to get access, to sometimes get it in real time. So that's my biggest challenge.
I can see that. Thank you very much, Agnes. So, Valentin, what are you consulting your clients about when it comes to risk?
In fact, they want two things which are a bit annoying, I would say. The first one is yes, I want something which is working now because everybody is doing AI, and of course I want to have it. And it's hard to make them understand that yes, you need AI framework, risk framework, governance in place, and they usually don't see why it should be done. So it's a matter of education, a lot of education, to make them understand. Yes, it might take some time at the beginning, but it will be more efficient. The second topic or the second issue is around the dissemination of AI. It's very difficult for them to understand that yes, you can do something on your mobile using OpenAI, for example, or ChatGPT, and it's a and you don't have the same capabilities or same functionalities on a professional environment. And of course, it's something which make time to rent available because of all the risk that needs to be constrained. It's very difficult again to make them understand that. So a lot of work around those points, and a low maturity, I would say, from the board to the end user around those topics. So again, I fully agree with what Agnès and Jérôme said.
So, I hear a lot about, we need a lot of people, obviously, doing the data jobs. You need a lot of people making sure that there's no biases, mitigating the risks. So, where do you see that human machine relationship with AI? Are we going to be replaced at some point? Or is AI going to be a nice companion going forward?
I can take this one. Obviously, my answer is really biased by the fact that I am working in a French retail bank, on which our choice and our strategy is to still rely on people, human, that are in the retail. So, and for me, it's a strategic choice, because we could imagine now with Gen AI, you can call a bot and you may have a quite a fluid conversation. Okay, but do we really want that? And I think your example with Klarna and so on was quite interesting regarding the call centers. So at the end, it's more a matter of choice, and our choice at this stage is really to see that more as a companion. So AI to support people and the staff, because we want them to spend more time with customers, because we realize that if we have some metrics, and at the end, the advisors, the front office for us, only spend 30% of their time with clients, and that's definitely not enough. So when you see that, you really want to support so that you get rid of administrative tasks and so on. You can also help them to be trained with AI. That's also another option. So we really see that as a support. And then for sure, but I guess really it's a strategic point of view, and maybe other digital bank may say something different, but we really see human in the loop.
Thank you very much.
I fully concur. So we see the employee as augmented by AI, by the tools that we will provide them. And because we want also them to be more with the customers, to talk, because that's what AI can't do. So exactly aligned. We haven't talked about it before, but I think we are really aligned.
Anything from you?
A bit an answer a bit different. I would say that on a short-term basis, of course, every single bank or insurer or entity is focusing on augmenting the employee because it's more convenient, it's more acceptable also, especially in France around those topics. Once they will realize, and once you succeeded in deploying AI at scale in production, the question might be a bit different, especially given the board that the board would want to have some money in return. So I would be a bit less optimistic than my colleagues in terms of impact because of the way that the society is working. Especially banks want to generate more money. So clearly, yes, that's the case on a short-term basis, reassuring the client and waiting for the technology to be more mature also. But as soon as those two factors has been validated, I adopt that we will keep this kind of status.
Just to add a comment on what you said, I think also our answer is from our perspective now regarding clients. What are they going to expect from us? And if we really have a look at younger generations, I think they will expect something different. And are they willing to wait for having an appointment with their advisor now to get financial advice? For sure not. I can see even my teenage boy wants to have advice. He's looking at that, and he's also listening to some influencers that are really not skilled to do that, but they are ready to listen to that. So, I mean, where I think we have a big risk is really regarding who are the actors that will appear around in this all this area, but also where we can have a real strength is really that at the end we are still, I guess, a partner on which clients trust, and I think we really have an opportunity there, but we have to take it. That's something we have to take care.
And it's a bit tricky because there is many surveys where you see that at least between 25 and 30% of the young generation is asking ChatGPT for financial advice. So clearly it raises concern about the trust. I agree that a bank and the front office should be a trust advisor, but now the new generation and the new users really trust ChatGPT within their investment for their investments. So it raises a lot of concerns, at least to me.
There are certain tasks, I think, that we should never actually hand over to the machines. And trust is something that machines will never ever be able to build. I hope, at least. I mean, I'm sometimes a little bit cynical about things. So at the moment, I feel like we are hiring humans to build AI to replace humans. So that's a little bit of a paradox that sort of, is a little bit flawed logic. But at the same time, I agree. If you look at throughout history how technology has changed the landscape of human labor, and how, for example, automations have changed, obviously, mechanical jobs that now being done by machines. It will happen in the future, right? And that's going to be as sure as the amen in the church, as we say in German. That's going to happen. But the question really is, how are we going to adapt as humans? Okay, thank you very much. I have 1,000 more questions that I would like to ask you, but unfortunately we're out of time, and I can see some of you are getting thirsty in here. So, but maybe just to end with this, when you are going back to your office tomorrow and your colleagues are asking you, so what did you learn from this event? Maybe you learned that AI is intelligent, maybe you learned it is intelligent, or maybe you're just as confused as before. So thank you very much for coming.